probably need to dial it back some because we don't want to get in trouble. But yeah, this thing is effortless and it has no sound. You know. Coming up this week, we're gonna take a look at this brand new 2021 Ford Mustang Mach E, the all-electric Mach E. This is the future. We're gonna take it around these streets and see if it has what it takes to compete with the Tesla Y model as it's brand new to the market. I'm Jay Walker. You're watching Life Off-Road right here on J-Dub Motorsports. Welcome to another episode of Life Off-Road. This week's feature is the all-new 2021 Ford Mustang Mach E. Yes, I did say the Mustang. This is a very interesting car because this is pretty much the wave of the future. You know, Ford has really been working on this thing. They've kind of kept it a secret over the years, but as Tesla's got going and they've came out with several different models, they decided to introduce this model, and this is a pretty cool car. It looks like a Mustang in the front, but as I said in videos prior, you know, everybody's going to the crossover, you know, sports cars, SUVs. You know, you got your Porsche Cayennes, your Maseratis, your Lamborghinis, to, you know, you name it. I mean, everybody's kind of using that sports car front and blending it in with the SUV. But this thing here is very sleek and stylish when you look at it. I mean, it's pretty much well blended in as far as the detail and the craftsmanship of the car, even from the front grille, which there is no grille. I mean, it's just the Mustang plate because, like I said, this is all electric. And to come in, because I don't really know much about electric cars, I'm gonna bring in my good friend Mike, who owns this car. He could tell us a little bit more about it. Sir.
All right, Jay, thank you.
Yes,
thank
sir.
you for having me.
So when did you, first of all, what did you have before you got this car? Like, what made you go to this road?
I had an Audi Q5, and you know, even though I'm a big guy, I like the smallish, sporty SUVs because I like the space. I have kids, and you know, I like the sporty feel, and I also like to ride in comfort.
Okay. Okay. So about how long you've had the car now?
I've had this car for almost 9 months. I got it in March. Ordered it directly from Ford. So, like you said, it's a 2021, so obviously I'm the only owner it's ever had.
Oh, wow, sweet. Now, when you, I know you was doing a lot of your research because, like you say, you went from the Audi, and this thing here just has a whole lot of electronics, kind of like your Apple Mac status. You have so many gadgets. Yeah. Are you kind of in that field or whatnot, or is? Yeah,
I'm definitely into tech. You know, I like gadgets and the technology. Well, actually, the look of the car is what attracted me first. But then as I started researching the car, just some of the tech features, some of the safety features. It has full self-driving, you know, it's a software update that's coming later. It has lane keeping assist, and it has all kinds of security features that you know keep you safe on the road. Yeah. And then you know, definitely has the performance. So for me, it was a complete package, actually.
Yeah, that's very good, very nice, because yeah, that's one thing with these newer cars now. Everybody has the updated safety features. Right. You got sensors all over the place, and you want to say the car pretty much drives itself. Yeah. But this is very sleek and stylish, man. Just looking at it, when you first pulled up, and I was just like, wow, this thing. I mean, to see it in videos and photos just does it no justice compared to seeing it in person. I mean, even with the glass roof and kind of going towards the back of the car, it kind of gives it kind of a fastback kind of look to it, which is, like I said, it's very sleek and stylish, man. I really like the look of it. I mean, they really did a great job with it. This thing here has, like I said, it doesn't have a motor. It has, well, it does have motor. It has motors to control the wheels, because I believe this is all-wheel drive, this model.
Yeah, it's all-wheel drive
here. And I think you get two different versions, all-wheel drive or the rear-wheel drive. And I believe the rear-wheel drive, you could probably get a estimate mileage around 230 miles or so, give or take. And I believe this one you can get up to almost north around 300, maybe from 270 to around 300 or so. Have you taken it on any long trips to kind of test that range out? Or?
Yeah, and actually this one is spec'd at 270, and the rear-wheel drive models supposed to get more range because it has a one less motor for the battery to drive. This is the larger battery. This is the 88 kilowatt usable space battery. We've taken it on a couple road trips. We've gone to Jekyll Island. We've gone up to Tennessee, up to the mountains, and you know, we've traveled maybe about 400 or 500 miles away, you know, on a road trip. And like you said, this one it's supposed to have 270 miles of range. I'm getting more like 300. And so on those road trips, I had to stop at a public charger.
That's what I was going to ask you. So do you how do y'all find out? Do you just pull it up on the map and see who has the closest locations or whatever?
Well, there's a couple of ways to do it. The easiest way is just let the car tell you.
Okay.
So if you put your destination into the car, it'll map your destination, but will also consider your battery and the estimated range. And if it doesn't think you'll make it to your destination with at least 10% range, it'll automatically add a destination or a charger stop on your route. So you just basically just follow the car. That's the easiest way. But I'm a little bit more hands-on. So, you know, before the road trip, since I have my family with me, I want to make sure everything goes well. I just do research. There are apps like PlugShare. It'll show you the route and it'll show you chargers on the way. So, like for Jekyll Island, we had to stop once. There's a Burger King halfway, and we stopped at the Burger King and we let our kids play on the playground and eat and let the car charge for about 30 minutes.
Okay, because that was going to be my next question. Normally when you have the public charges, do they charge up pretty quick, or I know they kind of vary? And are they all kind of designed for just this particular socket, or does it have to be, not saying does it have to be a Ford or a Tesla, but you could just pull up? Because I heard some charging stations are faster than others.
Yeah, so basically there are 3 levels of charger. There's level 1, level 2, and level 3. Level 1 is going to be like your typical 120 volt outlet that you would have at home. Level 2 would be a 240 outlet, you know, like what you would use for your dryer or a refrigerator or something like that. And level 2 is probably what you need. With a level 2 charge, you can get about 21 miles per hour added. And then level 3 is the fast charger, and that's what you would find at the public chargers, or some public chargers. And with that, there's one of the fastest speed that this can charge is 150 kilowatts per hour, and like I said, it's an 88 kilowatt battery. So if I were ever in a situation where I had to go from 0 to 100, I had to fill the entire battery. Well, one, there's some caveats. You can only fast charge up to 80%, and then after that it tapers off to save the battery. So if I had to go from 0 to 80, it would take maybe about 35-40 minutes, you know, at a public charger. Okay.
Now, did you have, when you first purchased this, did you have to like get another charger installed in your house, or a plug outlet, or?
When I first got it, I just continued using, or I used a 120 outlet that was already in my garage. And I did this. I don't recommend others doing it, but I actually wired my house for a 240 outlet and I put it in the garage so I can charge a lot faster. It cost me maybe a couple $100 in materials, but you know, to hire an electrician to do that, you're looking at anywhere from $300 to maybe $1,000 or something. So but in the long run, I mean, you still save because you know, like I said, charging at home because of our cheap electric rates, it only cost me about 88 cents in electricity to completely fill it up. So I can get 300 miles for just 88 cents in electricity. Okay, so cool.
Well, like I said, this is a very sleek looking car. I mean, it's I keep telling y'all, it's gorgeous in person, excuse me. I'm just looking at the color because I'm so messed with. Like, what type of paint color is this? Is this kind of a, I know Ford has different kind of paint codes because it looks kind of burgundy, but if the sun hits and we kind of got an overcast day to day, which sucks, but I'm sure it will probably bring out like almost kind of a candy apple red type of flavor with it.
Yeah, this is a rapid red from Ford, and it's they call it a tri-coat metallic. So it has like 3 layers of different paints, and all paints work together to kind of sort of make this, to give this effect. One of the paints is black, but it's kind of interwoven in to the color, so it kind of sort of gives it some dimension. You know, and you know, as you see, like the muscle curves of the car, like the curvature of the front hood, the kind of sort of throwback to the Mustang. That it kind of sort of gives the car some depth when you're looking at it. It's interesting because it's almost like you don't know where the car begins. It's kinda, you know?
Yeah, they did a very good job as far as the lines. I mean, that's one of the first things you notice, even kind of just coming along the front pillar here. But as you can tell, I mean, just the grooves and everything, I mean, just the attention to detail on how they did everything is very nice. This one comes with a set of Michelins. It looks like on the front calipers you got a big 4-piston grip caliper, and as we was driving earlier, we had it in the, I want to say the one pedal mode.
Yeah.
So as you're riding, if you take your foot off the accelerator, it automatically hits the brakes for you. Now some people might not like that, but what it's doing is it's regenerating more power to charge up the battery when it does that. So if you don't like that mode, you can just put it on regular drive mode and drive it like a regular car. But that's an interesting feature they have. But I believe these come with a set of 225s, 55s. You know, it's not, like I said, this is not a sports car type of vehicle. They do have a GT version of this, which, you know, is probably over 400 horsepower, and it has the, you know, Z-rated tires or whatever. But this thing here, I mean, it handles and does what it's supposed to do. So let's take a look at the interior. All right, folks, so we're in the back seat of this thing, and this thing is very roomy. When you sit in this thing, you notice that the this has the glass roof. I believe all these models have the glass roof. And when you first think about it, you would think that, you know, this doesn't have the shade to cover up, and you would think you would just be baking in here. But this panel is covered, and they do have some UVs in the glass, whatever, that helps kind of reflect the sun, so you're not really beating on you. But it's actually pretty roomy up here, because my head is nowhere near hitting the top. But you have your USB ports back here. You know, you got a little charger button right here, and you have your in-between chair right here if you want to put a couple of drinks or whatnot in here. Got room for 5 in here, but it's pretty roomy in here. So let's go into details of what all this car can do, because I really want Mike to kind of show everybody, you know, as far as just the setup and what modes and all this on how to drive this thing. So let's do that now. All right, folks, so we're in the car now, so I'm gonna start it up. Vehicle is on, and it's so weird not hearing the combustion engine running, but it's an electric car. So Mike, what we have here, this is a very Tesla-like. Everything, yeah. I'm assuming is touchscreen.
Yeah, it's this is, you know, Ford did their research, and by doing their research, they basically copied Tesla. You know, this is the info this infotainment is their Ford Sync 4 software platform, as opposed to the Tesla, which is, you know, this way, you know, horizontal. They fixed this vertically. I think it gives a little bit more leg room. My knee doesn't. I don't worry about my knee bumping.
Because I believe Teslas first started out like this, then they turned it to look like a MacBook. I was wondering why they did that, because I would think, like you said, my knee would probably be banging that thing the whole time. And
it's cool. I mean, it's right now. You see from the screen. There's you know, probably want to.
Yeah, you go out there.
There we go. There, as you can see from the screen, and it's showing our location. It's giving us Google Maps here. It's wirelessly connecting to my phone. So it has wireless connectivity to Google, Android, CarPlay, whatever it's called, and Apple CarPlay, you know, if you have an iPhone. But in the screen, like, one of the first things you know is if you hit the car icon, it has 3 standard driving modes. There's unbridled, which is the mode I'm almost always in, just because, you know, why not?
Right.
And if you hit the info, it has like little messages that for exhilarating drive. Machine and road align as one. And whisper is, you know, the quiet mode.
Quiet mode.
Only time I use that is when I'm riding with my kids and I want them to go to sleep.
Okay.
You know, which is pretty much.
I'm sure that works every time.
And then there's Engage, which I guess I don't think I've ever really used Engage. I guess it's a cross between Whisper and Unbridled. And like you're saying, so it has a 1-pedal drive. I currently have it turned on, and what it does is when you let off the accelerator, the car doesn't even engage the brakes or anything to stop. It's using the motor itself to stop the wheels, which saves the brakes, and it actually throws the friction from that back into the battery. So it throws energy back into the battery as you drive. And then we have propulsion sound, which is optional. You turn it on, and what it does is when you hit the accelerator, it plays a fake engine noise through the speakers.
Wow. Okay.
So in case you do want to hear,
right,
it's not as loud as like an SS or anything like it. It's not going to fool you into thinking
right,
but it's enough. If that's what you need.
Okay.
And then it has all the settings and self parking and self driving and all kinds of things. You can set your charging mode. You can have different profiles for different drivers, different settings, and it gives you your battery information. It'll tell you your drive information. It'll tell you how much electricity you're using. It can do navigation. It gives you tire pressure. Has some basic like little
kind of like
apps.
it run a full diagnostic of your car.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It gives you all that. We have a notepad here.
Sweet.
You can scribble on.
Now, how often you have to stop the kids from playing with it?
Whenever we're like picking up food or whatever, the kids will come up here and they'll play tic-tac-toe.
Okay. Sweet.
On the screen. They get a kick out of that. And they could just as easily play tic-tac-toe on paper, but it's something about doing it in
doing
Daddy's
it right
car.
here,
And I mean, it has a whole bunch of apps. It has the radio, of course, and Sirius and all that.
Okay.
And if we're running low on electricity, it'll tell us where the chargers are nearby. And then it has voice commands too from Ford. So it gives us all the nearest chargers.
Okay.
And if we map to a charger, it'll actually start conditioning the car so that way when you get there, it'll charge faster.
Wow. Okay. And you can control all your, heating and air. This is very cool because it's all touch and whatnot.
It has heated seats and heated steering wheel.
Okay.
And one thing I really like, because in the Teslas you just have the touch screen, is this physical volume control. It is very handy because I mean when you're driving, probably the volume is the thing you interact with the most.
Right.
Like if you listen to a song, the next song come on, it's your song, you got to turn it up.
Right.
And then when you're looking for something, you got to turn it down quickly. So having that physical right there, I think is really helpful.
Sweet. And I love this your gauge cluster here, which is it's almost better than today's heads up display because it's right here in front of you. So everything is all digital, and then has of course your battery life here, your range of miles and everything. I mean, Ford really knocked it out the box with this. I mean, this is nice. Even the steering wheel. I mean, I love the steering wheel. It's just a good leather feel. Has kind of that Mustang feel to it. But even the speakers up here, this looks like a big old sound bar up here.
Yeah, it's a B&O sound system. It has 10 speakers throughout the car. And this entire width of the car, this is actually a sound bar.
Sweet.
That they've integrated into the dash. And you see it's just very minimal design. There's not a lot of buttons on the dash. Everything is here. But the buttons are important. You do have physical buttons for volume and other things, and of course your start stop.
Cool.
And like you said, so I guess the Mach or the fake heads-up display, it gives you your important information. It gives you your speed, and as a throwback to the Mustang planes, speed is listed as ground speed.
Right.
It doesn't say, kind of sort of a play on the planes.
Yeah.
And then right there, that little unit right here, that's actually scanning your eyes.
Okay.
Making sure that you're not falling asleep while you're driving, and that's needed for the full self-driving. Which this car is outfitted as far as the hardware for full self-driving, but there's a software update that's coming later from Ford.
Okay.
Where you can have complete self-driving hands-free. Right now it just does the lane keep and it keeps you away from cars, but you have to keep your hands, you have to touch the steering wheel in order to make it work.
Active. Okay. Well, let's take this thing for a ride. All right. Here we go. The 2021 Ford Mustang Mach E. I see what you mean by the one pedal. Okay, that's cool.
We can turn that off if you want.
No, I'd rather do it so I get used to it just to see how it is. Man, this is ultra smooth.
It's in sport mode right now. It's in unbridled. So
unbridled. Okay.
Yeah, it's whisper and engage. Whisper is the comfort. Engage is just normal, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, I was reading up on all that last night and a couple of days just to see the differences between the whisper and all the different modes. Because this is a 1-speed, not transmission, just a 1-speed.
Single gear,
yeah. Man, this is crazy, man.
And this, right, I didn't think I'd ever drive an American car.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, you know, I got small kids. So I need a little bit of room. You know, my wife has a big car, so we're good there. But I need at least room for car seats and all the other stuff. So when they came out with this, I was like, "Bet this is perfect."
This is right on time. Yeah, because this thing is a lot roomier than people think too. I mean, it's you could definitely get some tall people back there in the back.
Yeah, it's since there's no axle, you know, you save a lot of space in the car.
Yeah, that's one thing they was talking about with the whole how the floor is just flat because you don't got to worry about the drive shaft and everything. I mean, which I can tell just being in here. So there's no hump in the floor. I mean, you got a ton of space. So when you first got this thing, like how long did it take for you to, I'm sure you did all your research before you bought it, but like, did you play around, like just driving around? I'm sure it probably felt kind of weird just when you first got it.
Yeah, I mean, I've got 13,000 miles on it, and probably 10,000 of those miles are playing around miles.
Oh wow!
Like, because you know I'm working from home right now, so I don't have a daily commute.
Right.
So I make up errands. I'll run to Walmart and Latonia, just just to get out on the road. But it probably took me maybe about a week to get comfortable, to get used to it. And so now, like, you know, some of the features, like the one pedal driving and things like that, when I drive my wife's car, it's a little off for me because when I let off the accelerator, I'm expecting the car to stop, and it doesn't. So
yeah, you just got accustomed to that.
Yeah,
that is a cool feature though. When I heard them explain that, I was like, wow, okay, that's pretty cool because it's regenerating the electricity to keep, I guess, the energy going.
Yeah, it throws it back into the battery.
Right.
And for me, it's easier to drive to use the one pedal because, well, one, you know, you're not tearing up your brake pads.
Right.
So the brake pads last a lot longer.
Right.
Like the brake pads on this car, according to Ford, should last 100,000 miles. And then two, it's when I'm driving and I'm going a little fast, it's easier when I let off the accelerator for the car to slow down than even for that split second to transition to the brake if I'm trying to slow down. And so, like, sometimes when I'm driving and like if a car pulls out or if something surprises me, it's easier to slow down. You know, to me, it's safer. It's a safer way to drive, I think.
Yeah.
I like it. I mean, because it's quiet, it's electric, but as we drive, you know, we hit bumps and stuff, you don't hear any rattling. Yeah. You don't hear any part of the car shaking, nothing. It's just it feels like the whole car was just made from one piece of metal. Yeah. And
to me, it just driving it a little bit, it don't even feel like it feels like a normal car. I mean, as far as the ride and everything, I mean, it's not you would think I remember when I first rode in the Tesla, I was just kind of blown away of where cars was going because when my buddy gave me a ride and I was like, man, you sure this thing is on? And he's like, yeah, it's on. And then when he mad it to the floor, I was just like, whoa. Yeah, it's on. Just performance wise of it. So how did you get this? Like, this came out at the beginning of the year, basically?
Yeah, this came out. I actually put in a reservation last year, 2020, November 23rd, 2 days before my birthday. Okay. Because I researched it for several months just to make sure it was feasible. You know, make sure I understood everything that the electric required and make sure it worked for my family.
So this one has the 2 batteries.
Yeah. Well, it has one battery, but it has 2 motors.
2 motors.
Yeah. Yeah. It has a front motor and a larger motor in the back.
In the back, got it.
And the motors are connected directly to the wheels. Right. So there's no differential, there's no when you hit go, it's just it's instant torque.
That's what I feel now, just trying to keep up with Corey. I'm like, man, it seems like if I just mat it to the floor, I'm sure it's gonna go. Plus the all-wheel drive factor, I mean, I'm sure it gets off pretty quick on the line. I'm sure you get a lot of stares in this thing, man.
Yeah, I get a lot of people pulling up to me at the light, asking me a bunch of questions. Right. I get people trying to flag me down on the highway. Right. Going 90, and it's like, I get a lot of strangers walking up to me. Right. You know, and yeah, it's definitely not a car for introverts.
Oh yeah, because I'm sure they look and be like, they see the Mustang front, because it looks like one of the new Mustangs, you know. And that's why I was saying in my last couple of videos how a lot of companies go into these crossovers using the sports car fronts, you know, from your Porsches to your Maseratis to, you know, everybody, Lamborghinis, you know, everybody's doing it.
Yeah, that's what the market wants. That's what people want. People want
right.
People want SUVs, they want crossovers.
And they want to be fast. You know, they want to have the best of both worlds. Yeah, so off the rip, folks, this thing is it's definitely keeping up with the chase car, as you can see. We probably need to dial it back some because we don't want to get in trouble. But yeah, this thing is effortless and it has no sound. You know, it's amazing, man. You would think that, you know, a car of this caliber, just all electric, you wouldn't even imagine an electric car going this fast. But it's definitely quick. Now, does your wife like driving this thing, or does she?
My wife has driven it once.
Once since you've had it. That's it.
Yeah.
She just don't like to drive, or?
Well, yeah, she you know, she has her own car.
Yeah.
She hasn't. I guess she feels she hasn't had a need to drive it.
Yeah.
My wife is very. You know, her car gets her from point A to point B, and that's
right.
It. There's
so
no.
I got it.
She's about business.
So the one time, so I presume that was probably when you first got it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, she liked it, and I've asked her to you know. I've offered for her to drive it other times. I mean, she can drive it whenever she wants.
Mm-hmm.
But she's, you know, like her and her sisters were going out. So why don't you take the Mustang?
Right.
You know?
Going out to a nice dinner somewhere.
She was like, no, we're just gonna drive to the place and park it. I was like, well, that's what you do with any car.
Right.
And she said, no, we'll just take my Volvo. We're fine. It's okay.
Man. People, I tell you, this thing is surprisingly quick. I mean, it's a 1-speed, not even transmission, it's just a 1-speed. You just hit the gas pedal and it goes. I mean, what more can you ask? Right now it's showing we got 204 miles of range left. Our battery is about 75%. And again, I mean, you really don't feel like you're in a electric car other than just looking at all the gadgets and whatnot. But I mean, it drives like a regular car, you know. It's very quiet. We have it in our unbridled mode, so you can kind of hear it a little bit, but it's definitely getting the job done, man. I like it. Ford did a real nice job with this thing. Now I'm sure your range goes down as faster I go. It's kind of like drinking gas.
I mean, you know, I gun it a lot. I think I got a heavy foot.
Yeah.
And I'm still getting good range. I'm still getting better range than what they estimated.
Yeah.
I think Ford intentionally underspec, or the specs that they tell you are lower than what the car can actually do.
Mm-hmm.
But like I was saying, so Ford, you know, I feel like they really committed with this car, because you know, initially from what I was reading, it just started off as a compliance car. They have requirements that they have to, you know, satisfy the government where they have to make an electric car. But Ford decided, you know, if we're going to do it, let's do it right. Let's go all in. And I think leveraging the Mustang brand says a lot. Right. Because that brand means a lot. And the only place on this car that says Ford is on the windshield.
Right. Because I noticed they use the Mustang badges all over here. Yeah. Yeah, a couple of reviewers were saying they didn't like it being called the Mustang Mach, but I'm like, hey, you know, you gotta, you know, sell the brand.
Yeah. It gets people talking.
Welcome to the future. Man, this is cool, man. That's it for this this week. I want to thank again my good buddy Mike for bringing it by. This is a really nice car, and I might even consider probably getting one of these. I mean, this would be a great daily driver. So let me go back to my subscribers. I always promise to give my new subscribers a shout out for newly subscribing and enjoying the the content of the channel. So I appreciate everybody who logs on, and my viewers who've already subscribed. Thank you so much. But where we left off, my man Paul Fisher, we have Anil, Linda Bow, Joe N, Carl DeMan, Carlos Francisco Ramos, Matavo, it's all one word, hope I'm pronouncing that right, William Pennington, Chris Rogers, Andrew Cronin, and Eric McGee. Thank you guys so much for newly subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, you know, please subscribe, like and subscribe to the channel, J-Dub Motorsports. Go to our website, jdubmotorsports.com. Bought you some apparel. We got t-shirts, hoodies, keychains, you name it, we got it, you know. But again, I really appreciate you taking that time out to press play and look at this vehicle, and appreciate you every day tuning in. And as we're getting ready to get through the holidays, if I haven't said it before, wish everybody a happy holiday season, and on to next year, and we'll catch you next week.